Hey guys, so this is here bringing you another video and welcome back to another high rating spectate. Today we're watching Fiddlesticks. Again, for the purpose, I might be wanting to pick him up relatively soon, so I thought it was a good idea to watch what a Fiddlesticks does, like one of the best players on the US, and see if we can pick anything up. So worth noting, Fiddlesticks as a champion obviously got recently reworked, and since then people have identified he's quite strong. The problem with obviously his rework, which I've pointed out, is it's very similar to his old playstyle. In essence, it's practically the same playstyle. So if you as a player know how to beat Fiddlesticks, well, you know how to beat this one too. So what you'll most likely see this Fiddlesticks do in mid to late game is the same as most. They'll be looking to be on the side of a team fight and an ultimate on top. So we'll see if this one does anything different, anything we can learn from. And if they can, great. So, you know, level 1, most likely going to be starting blue. And most Fiddlesticks do like a trick that they pull multiple camps at the same time at level 1. So you can see using their passive to ward over here and actually not going blue, starting over at red, which means that probably won't do a multi-clear, multi-pull on, you know, buffs and camps. So just going to start red, or maybe, oh, here we go, there is one happening. So obviously Fiddlesticks needs no leash, and if you get the exact perfect spot, you can actually clear all this at the same time. You see, it's not in range to reset. The red is still in range, it won't run away, and those chickens or whatever are also in range, they won't run away. So in essence, this is how a Fiddle can actually clear the jungle very fast. And this is what you should be looking to do. Worth knowing, you can do this on other things as well. You can go do this on blue side, and you can do it with the blue and the gromp and stuff like that. But I honestly think that one might be easier to actually do. So obviously starting W level 1 is a big AoE drain nowadays. Obviously that in the rework is something that changed. And then E at level 2, which obviously adds a bit more to the AoE. Worth reminding everybody, feel free in the comments to let me know what champions you want to see. I think I might be doing a Nidalee one upcoming as a suggestion from the comments. And as, you know, why you might be getting a little bit more high-level spectates at the moment. Reminding people, if again, please bear with me at the moment. I'm having a big life change in the next couple of weeks, you know, week or two, that I'm moving out for the first time ever. So I've obviously got a lot to organize, a lot to do, put together. And obviously bulk recording is going to be good because I don't want you guys to miss out on content. It will be either having some of these episodes or not uploading at all. So please, you know, think that this is a good thing, not a bad thing at the moment. And you can see here, doing another AoE clearing, going for the wolf, and then just before the wolf potentially would reset, finishes it off. And this is how efficient, by the way, a good Fiddlesticks is. Look, every single camp, basically apart from Krugs, apart from this camp down here, Fiddlesticks can chain 2 of them together and just power farm. So it's crazy. You'll also notice there is a Nidalee against the Fiddle. So we will be doing a Nidalee episode soon. But Nidalee as a champion, like you just saw how fast this Fiddlesticks has been farming. Nidalee is literally the same. Like she is kept up with a Fiddlesticks who is AoE farming. That is also how fast a Nidalee is. So do not underestimate that champion either. Level 1 First Blood, or not level 1, but First Blood happens with an Aurelia diving the Aatrox. Fiddlesticks going to be meeting the Nidalee, goes for the big play, doesn't do enough damage, but, you know, it's nice to get that damage. Aatrox misses his thingy. Fiddlesticks putting down a ward. And are they really... Oh, Fiddlesticks might look for this. Is he actually going to go for it? He does get the silence. Nidalee should maybe have respected it a bit more. Fiddlesticks could be in trouble with the AoE. With one more auto attack. Does get the kill. Will he survive? Aatrox no flash. Fiddlesticks does flash and does survive. Really, really confident play coming by Fiddle. Aatrox now potentially in trouble. Silence with the fear, with a bit of AoE healing, and Aurelia picks... Well, no, Fiddlesticks actually picks up the kill with the Aurelia. AoE draining to get it pushed into the tower, and that will also deny. Look how much minions this is going to be denying from the Aatrox, who already is miles behind the Aurelia. So very, very good play by Fiddle. Insanely high confidence. And that's the one thing I would say that is the biggest difference between old Fiddlesticks and this one. Very similar in how they both are. But because, like, the new Fiddle's been modernized and his kit obviously isn't really old school, he can be more aggressive in the early game. Having the big AoE AoE W that you're healing off multiple things, not just one, and being able to, like, the fear is a bit more of a skill shot, can be longer range, I think, slightly. There's more skill expression to the new Fiddlesticks than the old, and that does show. So what that does also mean is, I imagine, good Fiddlesticks players who have kept playing the champion probably have loved the rework, because if they're a good Fiddlesticks player, the champion is harder to play than it used to be, but it also offers higher skill expression. If you're good at him, you'll do better. But that also means if you're not a great Fiddlesticks, you probably don't like the rework, because again, he's harder to play than he ever used to be. So, not going back yet is the Fiddle. Maintaining high farm, and that's something that we've always said with jungling, is when you're watching a high-level jungler, it's all about maximizing gold income. You know, that's not just for jungle, it's for laners and stuff like that. Like, if you're trading in bot lane as an AD carry, you want to try and maximize, like, what you're doing, the gold, you know, farming and also trading and going for kills. It's all about maximizing how much gold you're making at any given time. Fiddlesticks, by the way, level 6 before 6 minutes into the game, has his ultimate ready. Nidalee as well, being a power farming, very fast jungler too. She's also level 6. So both junglers obviously nailed their early games. So yeah, so far so good. You can see in bot lane, by the way, it is a Twitch AD carry versus a Draven, half farm. That shouldn't be too surprising. Twitch as a champion, it does sound bad what I'm about to say. People go, Huzzy, really? It sounds crazy, but it does kind of feel like Twitch can't actually AD carry anymore. Well, at least maybe not without like a Lulu support. It does genuinely feel like the only way to play Twitch in any sense of strength is cheese jungle Twitch. As weird as that sounds. Obviously, I hate that pick with a passion, but it's very, very rare to see a Twitch do well in bot lane. I say that, and they legit got a kill. I think maybe they got a bit too close to the tower, potentially, did the Thresh. But anyway, first purchase from the Fiddle. And yes, he has just straight away bought a Runic Echo full Stalker's Blade item. So that's a very big power spike for Fiddle. Obviously, Nidalee herself has got the equivalent item for skirmishers. But now Fiddle can continue the farm and, continue basically power leveling. Or he might actually look for his, well, not first gank, but first ult gank, potentially. Throwing the control ward, which is a bit weird that he's buying them considering it's passive, but I guess you still buy them every now and then. And Nidalee straight onto the dragons. Fiddlesticks knows this is happening because of this ward. Let's see what happens here. He's going to go for the ult with the Diana coming in. Nidalee saw it coming somehow. I honestly have no idea how she saw that coming. Bot lane is having a bit of a tussle. Diana is in the area, and I doubt the Nidalee is going to be able to go for this, if I'm honest. Let's see. Nope, not having the confidence to go for it. Was a relatively late smite as well. But they do get the dragons, and that's good from Fiddle. And now a Katarina, which we haven't even mentioned, is in the game. Fiddlesticks, really nice, some silences to stop her, but didn't silence her ultimate because the Katarina delayed it. And in essence, the Diana does go down. You can also see the Diana has opted for the triple Doran's ring build. Not great when basically you're like, why the triple Doran? The triple Doran's is for your lane phase, is to try and maximize lane pressure, because obviously it's a strong item in the early game that just doesn't build into anything. So when, Diana now is down on farm technically to Katarina and now has died, that's not a good, because that's a heavy, really heavy investment in the early game, and now your early game has not gone very well. So again, AoE clearing does the Fiddlesticks is doing, as you'd expect. And yeah, so got the red buff, now going to head over to the blue jungle, and I'd expect you'll probably see another Fiddlesticks gank after the blue, maybe top lane, maybe in mid. What you'll very rarely see with the Fiddlesticks, by the way, is invading the enemy jungler. Fiddlesticks is a tactical jungler, but his W didn't reach then, which is kind of funny. Maybe you need vision of it for the W to activate. Nidalee is ganking top lane. Will Fiddlesticks move at all before? Well, not so far. Aatrox does flash. Nidalee in the area. Does go down, does the Aurelia. And Fiddlesticks, no, did not move. May move now, though. Obviously, Nidalee in vision. Will Fiddlesticks go for this play? Again, enemy team has vision of the Fiddlesticks. Meanwhile, bot lane, Twitch actually gets another kill. So Twitch, even though I said, oh, he's, struggling as a bit of a champion. Nice thingy. Nice silence. Diana going to pop over. Obviously, very aggressive champion is Nidalee with the moon. And boom, nice shutdown. Good flash, good silence by Fiddlesticks actually to survive that. But Fiddlesticks is not done. And I was actually a bit surprised seeing him base there, because I think, whenever you've got ultimate on Fiddle, you should really look for an ultimate play. It's kind of the same as Karthus, Twisted Fate. It's a big ultimate, big cooldown, so you should be actively looking to use it, because when you're holding your ultimate, well, that means you're just not using your big, powerful ult. You need to use it as much as possible, just to maximize the strength of it, really. Build-wise, rune-wise, while he's gone back, by the way, is running Electrocute. Cheap Shot, which obviously will be increasing damage after the Fear. Eyeball Collection with Ultimate Hunter, as you'd expect, because his ultimate is basically Fiddlesticks. And then running Sork, Nimbus Cloak, which shouldn't be too surprising. Absolute Focus, because when you're ulting in at high health, you're going to do more burst straight away. And then Adaptive, and Armor. So nothing out of the ordinary. The only thing that I'd say is maybe Electrocute is a bit surprising. Maybe. I don't know what else you could run on Fiddlesticks. And we haven't even spoke about the player, by the way. The player that's playing Fiddlesticks currently is Master. If I'm honest, it was actually hard to find Challenger examples that people that do play Fiddlesticks and Challenger. There could be a big play happening here, though. Thresh is getting caught. Diana on her way. Katarina flashes out. Teleport's coming all around. Fiddlesticks is going to look for a big ultimate. Here we go. Just finds the set, unfortunately. That's it. So that is 5 blue team members, by the way. Enemy Set is not happy at the Twitch, even though I don't think the Twitch could have even have got there. So I don't see how that's Twitch's fault. But yeah. So Twitch now on the back foot. You'll also notice, which is kind of interesting, if you guys have been following the current meta, Aatrox actually ganking bot lane. Fiddlesticks waiting for this, though. If you follow the current meta, with AD carries and stuff. Meanwhile, Draven explodes the Aatrox. Twitch is on the aggressive foot. They should work together here, and with a nice teleport, they do go down. Fiddlesticks picks up the kill. Good team play. But the current meta, a lot for AD carries, at least some of them, which does include Draven and Twitch, is buying tier, going into a Muramana build. Why haven't either of these champions done that? Well, you do have to remember that doing the tier build, yes, gives you higher scaling, but it legitimately makes your lane phase terrible. So a lot of Dravens will refuse to get the item because I'm Draven, I have to snowball, and even a Twitch is I'm too weak compared to a Draven. If I go tier, I can't be that weak into a Draven. I have to have some level of strength, therefore I'm not buying tier. That is honestly probably why. You can kind of get away if you get an Ezreal, for example, or a Vayne on one of those champions. Well, Draven should be a Vayne anyway, even if Draven runs tier, surprisingly, because Vayne is just that weak in the early game. Or Ezreal is also buying tier. So that's probably why you're not seeing it this game. But yeah, Fiddle doing well. 303, 87 farm. Worth also noting, considering how the game is going, it's relatively even at the moment. But you can see the Nidalee is still maintaining farm level right next to Fiddlesticks. She's just ahead of him, actually. Which, it does show how crazy Nidalee is. And obviously, Nidalee did get a recent buff. Again, I did just say, we're going to be doing another Challenge Spectate in the next couple of days of Nidalee. So expect that video if you are looking forward to it. Fiddlesticks going for an ultimate play. Look at that damage, everybody. Absolutely annihilates the Katarina. Again, the camera weirdly doesn't keep up sometimes with the actual Fiddlesticks ultimate. But yeah, with the Electrocute, and that's why obviously Electrocute Fiddle is a thing, his burst. Fiddle, the new Fiddle, even old Fiddle, has a lot of burst. Dragon is being started, and this is also what I like to see. Obviously, Nidalee started the first Dragon, but Fiddlesticks took it over. But obviously, objectives are very important. 2v1 in bot lane, Draven being a little bit too alone and does end up dying. But I like junglers who are actively looking for objectives. It's one of the most frustrating things. I think a lot of us do agree. When we're not jungling, when your jungler is like, what's a dragon? I don't know what that is. Please don't do that. Dragons are very important. You know, literally, if you actually wanted to think of what this season of League of Legends is, obviously it's season 10, it's the season 2020, but it is Rise of the Elements. That is what this season is called because of how much the strength of the game is all about these dragons. So worth noting, does that mean that these elemental dragons are going to go away next season? Honestly, maybe. Like, it could very well that the element dragons go away in season 11 because that was just what the change was this season. They might keep it. I wouldn't be surprised, if I'm honest, if they do, because it was a big change just to drop after one season. But yeah, I don't know what the next focus. Let me know, by the way, what would you want the next focus for season 11 to be? Personally, I'm fine with them keeping the game as it currently is, but as long as they keep, as they've done a couple updates, improving game behavior and stuff like that, that's okay. And I will just say, as a small tangent, while the game is in a bit of a lull right now, there might be a play happening in bot lane soon. I am struggling making content at the moment due to game quality and game behavior. My slight spoiler, the Iron to Master account actually is now being demoted to Platinum 2. And if you go through the match history, I went through at the end of the stream. Meanwhile, big play potentially happening here. Twitch very low. Draven doing a bit of damage. Set going all in. Expecting the ultimate, not coming. You'd think it would reach. There it is. It's coming now. With the flash, with the double kill. There it is. Honestly, it was a bit late, maybe. Draven just survived, though. If he died, I think that would have been questionable. And he does die to the poison eventually. Diana getting a little bit caught. With the moon, though, does she actually? Katarina on the back foot. Fiddlesticks is going to go for it. With the AoE healing, is out healing the Katarina damage. She does get the ignite off, though, and Fiddlesticks probably will go down, and he does in the end. But yeah, I am struggling with the Iron to Master account, and if you go through the match history of the recent games, and I'm not even kidding, if you ignore one win that we had recently, I've had a feeder, like a big feeder in every single game for the last 6 or 7 games. And like, we're not just talking, they're having kind of a bad game. We're talking people that have like 14, 15 deaths that just keep running in. It's weird. I don't know what's happened, honestly, because like, I'm okay with having the occasional person like that. We're all going to get them, right? But for 6 or 7 games, basically in a row, if you just ignore one game that I had on Jhin, that's that account. And it's like, what on earth? So I actually, of me recording this again, I don't know when any of these videos are actually going to go up on the channel, because obviously I am kind of bulk recording at the moment. Tonight of me recording this, I am going to play on the main account and try to get just, not do commentaries, but do like my POV commentaries. Like, I'll play on the main account, and if a good game, that I can do a POV, that I can record a commentary on top of the footage, amazing. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Aurelia, by the way, in currently a 3v1, does kill the Twitch. Now looking to turn on the Set and the Nidalee. Set nearly dead, Aurelia nearly dead, and they're on the wrong side of the map, obviously. So Fiddlesticks is just going to ult, because why not? That's what it's for, as I mentioned. He does get 1 kill. Set's going to try his best to run away. Diana is also here. Set going to walk into the tower, and I believe give Aurelia the kill. So yeah, Aurelia killed one in a 1v3, survived the 1v3, and all 3 of the enemy teammates died. Lol. Meanwhile, by the way, in bot lane, unfortunately, both Thresh and Draven did go down to the Katarina and Aatrox. Yeah. Worth noting, a lot of people, obviously, in League at the moment are very much about, like, oh, the balance in the game is a little bit rough. And it is. It is definitely a little bit rough. There are a lot of champions that maybe are a bit too strong, but the reason why Riot isn't addressing them, if you guys don't know how Riot kind of balances things, they only will address it if the play rate is really high, generally. Like, Katarina, right now, I'd actually say is a very unhealthy champion for League. You do not have to win lane on Katarina. So many Katarinas do not focus on winning lane. They'll just get level 6 and then just run bot lane. And they'll just look for that double kill and just spin. And it's just very weird. And especially now that the new Death's Dance is in the game, Katarina eventually has Gunblade, Death's Dance, Conqueror, and she heals a crazy amount with Death's Dance damage reduction, and she can't even really die while dealing a lot of damage. But the reason you'll never see Katarina nerfs is because her play rate is really low. The same goes for Echo's a bit of a weird one, because Echo's either pick or ban at the moment. But Silas, Echo, Kassadin, Vladimir, there's a lot of champions that just are under the radar for Riot actually to nerf them, because, well, the funny thing is a lot of them are getting banned too much for Riot to get the actual data to be like, should this be, you know, should this be actually nerfed? The reason why they don't have the data is because it's getting banned every game. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a catch-22. Meanwhile, Dragon once again up for contention here. Aurelia nowhere to be seen, but does have teleport if needed. They are starting it. Fiddlesticks, however, does have ultimate and is going to look for it. Should ult right now. Is ulting. A little bit too late. With the moon, there's the double kill, though. Katarina spinning. Fiddlesticks does get one shot by that Katarina ultimate. And you can see the Katarina legit murdered everything. And she's not even fed. But Aurelia in this whole time never went. And I'd say it is questionable to just, like, never group like this. But if she breaks open the base, that is a pretty big deal. If you, by the way, guys, didn't see, Riot did do an update on the behavior that they were talking about recently. Oh, this would be a good kill. And that is a dead Aatrox. They did do an update to it. And they did... it wasn't worth a video. Meanwhile, the Aurelia is going very all-in. I'm not sure this is incredibly a good idea, but she will not get the kill. Very close, though. They had, like, this whole pie chart. Or not pie chart. They had this graph type thing of, like, the behavior that they've collected that are problems. And it's intensity of the problem versus how often it happens. And one of them, which I didn't even think, one of them would, maybe this Aurelia would fall under, maybe, is never grouping. Like, that legitimately, in Riot at the moment, is collecting, like, these are all the issues that are in the game right now. So, obviously, inting, toxic behavior, all that stuff. One of the topics that Riot legitimately had written down was never grouping. And I'm like, oh, damn. Like, there's going to be a lot, and no offense, but there's going to be a lot of top laners and Zed players if Riot starts to take that as a serious offense, never grouping. Yeah, a lot of top laners and a lot of, like, assassin players that love to split push and a lot of Vayne players are probably going to see themselves getting banned. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Because, like, I would say you go, like, it depends the champion, right? Like, it should never be a clean cut, oh, this champion, you know, you're never grouping, that means it's bad. If you are playing Nasus, I do say a lot of Nasuses do take the whatnot that they literally never group. But if you are a fed Nasus and you know you could take on anybody and end the game practically, well, sometimes split pushing is the better thing to do. And be like, dude, you four, just do not die. I will kill my lane opponent in 1v1 and I'll just end the game. So is that a reportable offense if that Nasus never groups? I don't know. So that one I will say they have to be a little bit careful with. But anyway, we have to talk more about the Fiddlesticks. Very standard Fiddlesticks play. And this is the thing with the champion is he has higher skill expression, but in the end of the day, it is still Fiddlesticks. So, you know, there's a basic game plan you're going to be following. Nice double kill for Diana. Twitch does get a return kill, though. But there's a basic game plan you're going to be following on Fiddlesticks every single time. What was more impressive to me, and what I've learnt myself, if I am going to play a Fiddlesticks game soon, is obviously the AoE farming is quite handy, just to know, oh, you can link these camps together, therefore farm more efficiently and quicker. That's really good. Like, if you're playing Fiddlesticks and you're not doing that, well, obviously do that. Because, you know, maybe you might have to go in the practice tool and just learn the limits of exactly where you have to stand. But that's something that every Fiddlesticks player should be doing. Meanwhile, they're probably going to bait Baron here. I wouldn't be surprised. They're set. He gets a ward down. They're putting control wards down just to get rid of the vision. And they're, you know, they might think about doing Baron if the enemy team didn't react to it. But there's no point, like, forcing it completely. Like, Fiddlesticks is obviously one of the best Baron take junglers in the game because, in essence, he drains the damage that you take. So you're not, in essence, taking any damage from Baron. But it's still a risk. Fiddlesticks ulting for the Twitch, by the way. Twitch, worth knowing, I was literally about to point it out. Doesn't matter, though. Has that QSS to avoid the fear. But you can see Fiddlesticks damage way too big. And if I'm not mistaken, the new Fiddlesticks kind of has a double fear mechanic. That your initial... one of your fears can basically get triggered off an ability. So if you ult, people go, ah, Fiddlesticks ult, and they get feared. And then obviously if he presses Q on somebody too, they get feared as well. I think that's correct, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously I've not really put much time onto the new Fiddlesticks myself. That's why I'm watching this video, is to be like, oh, obviously skill order and everything, maxing W, then your Q, then your E. Something like, oh, why do you max Q over your E? Surely E does the damage. No, your utility with your fear and everything is what you kind of need. And also terrifies a target for 2 seconds and deals current health, target's current health. So your Q actually does do damage, unlike what it used to never do damage. So that's good. All right, so item build. Obviously, we said about the runic, then Morello, Void stuff. What's interesting to me, and obviously what's kind of unique, no Zhonya's. So obviously Zhonya's used to be, and it might still be partially, but, you know, the Fiddlesticks item. You Zhonya and you ult and then you Zhonya. The reason why you won't see every single Fiddlesticks rush that or even buy the item, well, when you're Zhonyazing, in essence, you're also not dealing any damage, right? You know, you're immune and you're just standing there like, oh, I'm not dying. Great. Well, with the new Fiddlesticks, with your AoE drain, a lot of the time, it might be better. Instead of Zhonyazing, you just press W and get the AoE heal that you're like, I am alive. It's just better. You're doing damage and you're also surviving with your heal. Aurelia going all in, does get 1 kill. Enemy team on the back foot. Twitch does go down again. Aatrox, meanwhile, split pushing in top lane. And I don't blame him. Like, the guy needs to scale. He's got 1 completed item right now. Oh, big ult. Here's the elite. And look at that damage. So, yes, Fiddlesticks right now, everybody, has crazy good one-shot potential as a champion. That's why you're seeing the electrocute, etc. Nice hook by Thresh, just delaying the set. Maybe Draven can pick up the tower from that. Maybe. Katarina gonna go for it. Thresh misses his hook. Flay happening. Katarina going all in. Look at that. Look at that Katarina damage. Look at it. This, by the way, is not even a fed Katarina. That's my point. But if you were doubting what I was saying earlier, that is my point. It just, that champion eventually is one of those that we've spoken about. It's one of those champions that inevitably will kill everything given the opportunity, even if they're not having a great game. Like, even if they're having a mediocre game. And obviously, the Aurelia being very fed, that helps the surviving the Katarina ultimate there. But yeah, it's weird. Very weird. And there's a lot of champions like that. Like, again, Kassadin, Echo, etc. You know, oh, I don't necessarily... Oh, poor Twitch. You don't necessarily have to have a great game on those champs, at least in the early game, because you know you're a ticking time bomb to just kill everything anyway. That's not the healthiest gameplay to me in a lot of the ways. Anyway, Fiddlesticks item, Blasting Wand. Twitch might have left the game, or the game might be over, I'm not really sure. Again, wouldn't be surprised if the Twitch is rage quitting. If you saw his clan tag, obviously it's a toxic individual. Meanwhile, the Aatrox goes down to the Aurelia. Obviously, Aurelia having a great game herself, but not taking anything away from this Fiddlesticks. He's had good control this game. Like, he's got like good ultimates, and that's another thing that I want to put the clear point. Oh, he's back. A lot of Fiddlesticks players, and well, not just Fiddlesticks, a lot of players that have big AoE, like ults, Orianna, Diana, etc. They only look for, like, they'll hold their ultimate for, like, I'm only going to ult if I see 2 or 3 or 4 people to ult together. You can't do that. Those opportunities do not come round often. You can see the Nidalee damage, by the way, very high. But those opportunities do not come round that often. So, you, in essence, just when you see an opportunity, take it. Like, oh, I can just kill the enemy AD carry or kill the enemy jungler right now. That's what you should be looking for. That's how you should be playing the game. Meanwhile, blue team is looking to just power down mid. You can see Fiddlesticks has not joined them right now. Katarina getting caught, which is a bit weird. You know, the blue team has got the momentum in this game. Enemy team now a little bit weak if they're on the back foot. And Fiddlesticks is just going to regen health. He is actually also base. They're going to work their way into the blue base. And yes, Aurelia... I don't know, is Aurelia still arguably too strong? I personally think so. Obviously, I am slightly biased because she is one of what I call my kryptonite champions. I never do well against Aurelias. Like, it's just... I don't know. That champion, to me, maybe I need to adapt my thought process. But to me, Aurelia, in my mind, still scales insanely well. Like, mid to late game, she does so much damage. But with her rework, that obviously happened a couple of years ago now, they gave her a lot better early game than old Aurelia. So she has a really good early game and also a really good late game. So it's like, what's her weakness? So I personally think the new, like, Aurelia as a champion is very strong. But that's just me. Let me know what you think. But that was Fiddlesticks. So we learned about the two things that I think we can take away is the AoE clearing. Be aggressive in the early game. You can see this Fiddle was not being passive like a lot of Fiddles do. He was aggressive. You know, this whole play behind the tower and everything he was going for. And also, do not just save your ultimate for one massive big team fight that may never come. If you can just get that individual pick that will enable something else, do it. Like, just pull the trigger on your ultimate. Worth noting as well, the reason why Fiddlesticks may be wanting to do that, I don't know if I can check it. I'll have to go... Oh, I can't. Reminding you, he had Ultimate Hunter. Oh, I might be able to. Yes, okay, I rewinded. So at the end of the game, the Fiddlesticks did have a completed Ultimate Hunter. So you also have that in the back of your mind of, oh, why is Fiddle ulting just for the Nidalee? If, you know, a big Baron play might be happening. Obviously, bad example because you do want to kill the enemy jungler. But it could be, oh, that could be the last target he needed to kill to complete his Ultimate Hunter as well. Reminding people, Ultimate Hunter, very good on big ulting champions. Every single time you kill each champion, you need to kill each enemy champion once. And when you do that, you'll get 25% cooldown reduction on your ultimate. Very good, obviously. But that's going to be the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. That was Fiddlesticks. I think next episode we'll do a Nidalee game. But if you are enjoying these, again, hopefully you're okay with them, especially with right now. Don't worry, by the way, everybody. When I have fully moved in and we're up and running, you'll be getting all the live commentaries you'll ever want. A lot. But anyway, like, subscribe, comment down below. See you guys next time. Peace.